I wanted to share with you some of the best tips and practices if you ever conduct a watercolor workshop. Picking a subject matter that isn't too challenging and isn't too easy, and you can actually get it done in the time that you have. Now, I'm using high quality paints because I want them to enjoy it and make something that will last. A lot of them are going to be brand new to watercolors, and they will use this like toothpaste. So you do not give them the tubes. You keep the tubes for yourself, and when they need more paint, you pour it out and you give just a little bit, because a little bit goes a long way. You want people to see what you're doing. I'm gonna paint right here at this table. It's going to be recorded live right here so they can see exactly what I'm doing. Also, on the day of the workshops, you want to have your next workshop available. They might not be excited to paint the pear, but they might want to do the duck. Or maybe they want to do the duck, but the timing isn't right. And so they're like, well, I'll do the next one. In case any of the brushes have problems, they can come up here and get a different brush. I have some of my artwork on display. They can pay for it. They can see what I do. One of my big watercolors there. I also have this one so that I can show them a method we are going to use using only 4 colors: the cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. That's it. And that's how I painted this. So I want to give them an example. And how cool is it that they take home a masterpiece they did and they can tell their friends, I painted this using only 4 colors. I also printed out the steps that we're going to go through. This is something to just remind them of the process. These are going to be raffled off, and it is the color wheel. And I put this up so that they have something to look at as they do some of their mixing. Another challenge is when you're in a small environment, you cannot be using a hair dryer. You have to use a heat gun. So this is a heat gun, and notice how quiet it is. I'm turning it on, and I can still talk, and people can hear me. I can go live with this, and people can hear me. Oh, and by the way, it does smoke the first 2 or 3 times you use it. This is brand new out of the box. I ended up sending one back thinking that it was broken. It's oil that they put on the motor. And so if you read the fine print, it actually says there's going to be a little bit of smoking the first 2 or 3 times you use it. When you use it, it does not push air out and then cause your paint to just splatter all over the place. It actually just gives off heat. Another benefit of having heat gun is that it dries things quicker, and since your time is limited, you got to get the painting done. And so anything that helps speed up the process, like heating your watercolors, is going to help you achieve your goal. Notice I do not have little plastic cheap cups. One of the reasons why is because they spill so easily. But I got these heavy duty bowls that are hard to spill. A medium-sized brush and a small brush, because that's all we're gonna need. If we were doing the background, we would have a bigger brush. I got plenty of paper towels. So if they run out, they got paper towels there. I have extra towels. I also have extra tape, and I have a whole container of Mr. Clean magic erasers, because if anyone makes a mistake, they can easily make it as white as the paper again using the magic erasers. I have strategically put garbage cans on this side and in between here and in between here and over here, so that everyone sitting down, whenever they use something and they have to throw it away, they don't have to get up and disturb people who are trying to paint or watch. They can just quickly throw it away on the side. I printed out a reference so everyone has the same printed reference that they can look at. In case someone is standing up in front of the screen at some point, they can just look at their reference. I put the line drawing, and the line drawing is already done so that we can start right at 10 a.m. We can just start with the painting process and not spend an hour doing the line work. I put this on a cutting board, very thick, and it will not wobble. If I used, let's say, cardboard, the water touching the cardboard would start to make it warp, and then the paper would warp. A lot of the people coming tomorrow are painting watercolors for the first time, and it is actually hard to tape something down and have to move your hand all the time to make it like the perfect angle. Whereas if you have it taped down, you have it on a board that can move, you can tilt things. You can just tilt this and keep your hand at the angle that's comfortable for you. Here is an issue that you might run into. I ordered some pallets that are made out of ceramic and only 6 of them showed up. There was a problem on Amazon where they couldn't ship every one of them. There was a delay. So what do? Well, I found out that if you use 100% cotton paper, which is the same type of paper we're using for the bird, it works as a palette. So I'll be putting the paint that they need right on here. When we're done, we just throw the paper away, or they can take it home if they have any more paint on it. One of the issues we had is how do we get these heat guns in the places where they're needed? And so I went to Walmart and I bought 5 of these guys, extension cords, 12 feet long, plugged one into the wall right there. Then I just plug in the heat gun, and then I just take another one of these guys, I plug it in right here, the next one, like that. Plug it here, down, and you just want to push the cord back a little bit towards the table so no one trips on it. Now, the 2 people here, they can share this whenever they want, and the 2 people here can share this one. Stagger the chairs and the tables so that people aren't staring at a head when they're sitting down. That should help people be able to see the screen. I live in Tucson, Arizona, where it gets really hot, and it's in the middle of the summer, so I've stocked up on waters and lemonade and teas and some juice. There's gonna be people who are brand new to watercolor, and they're gonna be super afraid to make mistakes. And one of the things I'm gonna do at the very beginning is actually drip some paint on my drawing. And I have 2 options. I can cry or give up. And I prefer to cry because the tears will help to reactivate the paint, and then I can clean it up. I will drip some paint on purpose and get the towel and just soak it up. And then if that doesn't fix the problem, I'll get my brush and then that will help soak it up. And if that doesn't work, then I come over and I get my Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and that will do the trick. And it's to show people that you probably will make some mistakes, but we can fix it. Have a friend come in and do some B-roll, do some recording, because you can use it for future ads. You can talk about your workshop and what you did at the past workshop and what you're gonna paint at the next workshop, and having pictures of, you know, finished products with your students there holding up the finished painting, proud of it, smiling. That's perfect for future ads and future content for social media. Ask your local art store if you can display your business cards and workshop flyers. If you can, pay one of your kids to make the line drawings. No matter how great the artist was, every artist made mistakes. Like Michelangelo painted the ceiling instead of the canvas. Van Gogh somehow cut his ear off while he was painting. We all make mistakes, but be different. Don't make mistakes, and let them know that they stay in the ugly stage like a pigeon. Once they get out of the puberty ugly stage, they are adults, and then you see them. Things you need to do before the workshop, besides ordering the food and making sure people don't have allergies, have some stuff that's gluten-free. Time yourself doing the painting. You need to be able to finish the painting in half the time you have with people, because the other half is going to be you going around and helping people, answering questions and explaining. Give yourself a ton of grace. Understanding the exact ratio of how much water you need, how much paint you need in your brush, comes with 1,000 brush strokes. Comes with a lot of practice. Give yourself a lot of grace. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes, and that's okay. When people say that you can't control watercolors, what they're really saying is they just don't understand the language of watercolors yet. Once you understand the language, it's like gravity. You're like, oh, of course, gravity works like this. The ideal student for watercolors, you have to be a patient person. You have to like a challenge. If you can master watercolor, you can master anything. That tells you it's going to be a challenge. The faster you accept and adapt to what you're learning, you are gonna skyrocket in how you paint with watercolors. Being a positive person is an ideal student. Someone not afraid of making mistakes and trying and learning, being hungry to learn, and someone who is patient with themselves. And here's the good news. If that's not you and you stick to watercolors, it will be you, because to stick with watercolors, you will learn patience. You will learn to accept and adapt from your mistakes. Set up the room at least a day or two before the event. This will reduce your stress. And remember to send out a text message to remind them about the event the day before. For less than an iced caramel macchiato, you can join my exclusive watercolor community. You'll find step-by-step tutorials, quick tips, reference images, and hundreds of inspiring artists helping each other. No prior drawing skills needed, and you can quit anytime. Sign up today before it costs 2 iced caramel macchiatos, and I'll help you paint your masterpiece. Just tap the bio link. That's all I can think of right now. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching.